Lesson 1, climbing and getting to the practice area. Changing your altitude by climbing can't be done by pointing straight up and hoping to get there soon. We have to be mindful of the engine's ability to pull all the weight straight up without the benefit of lift. Only overpowered military jets can do this, and at the cost of expensive engines that produce a lot of thrust. Military jets are really just flying rockets. They can fly slower with wings, but they don't have to. So we have to learn the maximum angle of climb and the recommended angle to climb, knowing we can get there without slowing down to a stall speed, and also knowing that engine cooling is still adequate. We use the airspeed indicator to determine this. You already learned best angle and best rate speeds. We will use those same speeds if we have to, and we can also use what's called cruise climb and cruise descent. Cruise climb means we take our time with no noticeable change in altitude by our passengers, so it is a shallow climb. You can control this, and I'll show you how. But for now, let's use the engine optimum best rate to climb to a higher altitude. We've been flying at 2,400 feet and no higher so far. That's because the Toronto Island airspace control zone, which caps us at 2,500, so we stay 100 below it just for safety. Now that we are out of that airspace, we can go higher, say to 3,500 for now, to work in the practice area. We would normally do what's called a Hazel check before we initiate anything. For this routine climb, we will simply look up before we climb, and we should still look left and right out the windows for oncoming traffic before initiating the climb. But we will learn Hazel check soon. To climb to a higher altitude, we use the variation of the letters APT. You learn this same sequence when leveling off. Only this time, the power part means to give it full power instead of pulling back. We gently pull the nose up to a nose high altitude. Our airspeed will drop. When it gets to best rate, around 79, 75, we push the throttle to full power. Trim for best rate, and as you approach your destination altitude, APT again. Level attitude, wait for speed to increase, power back, trim. Try it. Start Simulator, load your saved flight that was facing north after we turned away from the water. Do you remember that one? Or you can do a normal takeoff and head out there. Once we get close to 3,500 feet and straight and level, start another climb to 4,500 feet and level out. If you're climbing more than 500 feet anytime, it's customary to lower the nose every 500 feet to see if any aircraft are in the area. You notice when you were in the climb attitude, you don't see anything but sky above and your panel. And you could stick your head out the window as far as you can or closer to the windscreen and try to look around. But it's best to just lower the nose and do what's called a clearing check. There's no traffic, and then go back to your normal. You don't have to trim level, but you just have to push the yoke to get level. Then you have to look around, nothing, no traffic coming, we're good, and then pull back to your normal best rate again. Your trim should already be there, right? So it's simple as that. Now, I want to introduce a new instrument while you do this. Have you noticed I don't throw all the instruments at you at once, as many courses do? In ground school, you study them all, and many times it's before you actually sit in the plane. So you learn them all inside out, theory, theory, and more theory. Now, a cruise climb might be a faster speed and therefore a shallow climb. It's always the relation of speed versus distance, or speed versus height, that sort of idea. So cruise climb is a faster speed because you're not pulling the nose up and slowing down, all right? So it's therefore a shallow climb and faster, perfectly fine. A gradual climb to a new altitude without your passengers even knowing it. You'll experiment, you'll figure it out. But to help us and to glance once in a while, we'll use the vertical speed indicator. This is a nifty instrument. Can I say nifty? It's very sensitive, and it shows us our climbing or our descending rate. Some pilots will tell you you should always strive for a maximum of 500 feet per minute to be comfortable for your passengers. Oh, I have to agree. You always want to think about your passengers. But it isn't an instrument you should chase or focus on. And what I mean by that is, as it shows an up indicator, as it shows you are climbing, you shouldn't try to chase it back down again and try to make it go down, and then make it go up, and then you're just doing this all the way through the sky. All right, that's what I mean by chasing the instruments. Your airspeed is the most important, but this instrument can give you an indication that you are climbing or descending, or neither. When you straighten level, it's right in the middle, 0, all right, which is perfect. When this needle is at the 9 o'clock position, you are neither climbing nor descending. That's what I mean by in the middle. It is more sensitive than your altimeter, so you'll see an indication on this instrument before you see a reaction on your altimeter.